I'm Lex.
And I'm Tay.
And this is our take on college. All right. Hey guys. Happy Monday for us, but it'll be Tuesday when you're listening to this. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Last week, I had said that I am so foggy right now in the brain. Taylor and I were just literally discussing what we were talking about on today's ep. And I've just had a lot of fatigue today. But last week in the Thursday episode where we kind of just talked about like our ideas of fall and kind of what we're looking forward to that's going to make this season the best, especially since I feel like we haven't really had fall for quite some time, or like a really vibrant, like colorful fall. I had said that we were going to talk about romanticizing life in college, but we're going to research a little bit more into kind of really being able to portray to you guys what that means, like from a scientific / like study point of view, and then obviously like what we see on social media and things like that, as well as what we do in our daily lives to like replicate that. So we are going to forego that on today's episode, and we will talk about that on the second episode of this week. Today's episode is super exciting, and in today's episode we are going to be talking about the types of Halloweens we had as little kids. I literally was just discussing with Taylor what my Halloween looked like as a kid, because today I only had one class because my other two got canceled. And when I came back to my cold dorm, I decided to watch Girl vs. Monster on Disney Plus. And I found out that Taylor has never seen that movie. And I am disappointed, to say the least. But anyways, we're going to talk about today what our Halloweens looked like as kids. We're going to talk about our favorite and least favorite costumes we've ever worn. I'm going to try to put the pictures in if we can find them. I'm not sure I'm going to have all of the ones I'm talking about, and same with Taylor, but we will try to put in as many as we can onto the YouTube video. But with that, we're kind of just going to get started. And as we mentioned earlier in the season, Halloween, we are actually dropping a Halloween / like IU Urban Legends podcast episode. So we are super looking forward to that, and we are really excited to get you that episode. So with today, we're kind of just gonna get a little bit further into like the Halloween spooky vibe. And yeah, Tay, why don't you start us off and talk about your weekend?
Yeah, so this weekend started off great. I had my psych test. For everybody who was keeping their fingers crossed, I did pass. I got a C. I did better than passing, but like I did pass, so that's good. Insert yay music or something. Whoop whoop. Yeah, I don't know. Then went to Hoosier Hysteria. Very fun. Saw a little bit of Gucci Mane perform. That was interesting, to say the least. Got to see all the new players on the boys and the girls teams. The girls got their Big Ten championship rings, which that was really cool to see them get presented with that. And then, they did their little 3-point shootout contest, some skills drills, things like that. And that was really cool. Then Saturday, woke up, went to the homecoming game. As we know, that did not go the best for us Hoosiers. Still a fun game. Still loved homecoming vibes, even though we didn't win. We thought we had a chance at the beginning, but, that's how that happens sometimes, I guess. And then Sunday, just really did a little refresh. Read, got stuff prepped for the rest of the week coming up. So, yeah, that was my weekend.
My weekend, I was not here for homecoming. I saw the beginning of the homecoming parade as I was leaving Bloomington on Friday, but I got home and I went and had dinner with my mom, which I haven't done in a very long time. So that was really nice to be able to see her. And then on Friday also, Taylor and I went and took pictures at Griffey, and it's just absolutely gorgeous right now. I was super excited because when my dad and little sister came to visit, I want to say, wasn't it last week? Yeah, on Thursday, and it was the day before. Yeah. So they came to visit me on Thursday, and we had gone to Griffey, and I told Taylor that we needed to go and take pictures because it was just absolutely gorgeous. So we went and did that. It was very exciting. Got some really cute pics and had some fun. And then, like I said, I ended up getting my stuff together, and I went home Friday, had dinner with my mom, and then also hung out with my little sister and my dad. And then Saturday, I helped my brother with some college stuff because he is in the process of getting all of his last minute submissions in for early action. Go Hoosiers. He's trying to come here to go to Luddy, so that's really exciting. And then majority of the day, I spent doing the chicken noodle supper at my church, which was super fun. Absolutely love my home church, missed my church family, and it was just a really good time to be with them. I forgot to mention before that, I took my little sister and my dad to Dole's Tree Farm because they have pumpkins out right now, which was super fun as well. We went down the slide, and I was going at rocket speed down that thing. It was kind of scary, not gonna lie, but it was fun. And then after that, I drove home because I had a sorority event that I needed to be at Saturday night. And then Sunday was just kind of like a reset day. I had a lot of stuff going on as well, but looking forward to this week. I got a lot of really great things going on. But yeah, that's kind of just a weekend recap to kind of see how we are doing. A lot of really fun things and just, trying to get through school. But with that, we're going to start talking about childhood Halloweens. It's very different being in college. Someone the other day, I was with my sister Alina back home, who is 16 and is a junior in high school. And, I feel like kids still go out and trick or treat, or at least go out with their friends on Halloween costume. I know I did in high school, but in college, obviously, people don't really do that. I mean, if you do, that's totally fine. I personally just don't know anyone who has. And usually people just kind of dress up for, the parties that they're going to and stuff. But Taylor and I haven't really fully decided what we're being yet this weekend. So we got to figure that out. But, yeah, there's just a lot that happens during Halloween weekend at college, but I'm really excited to talk about the past and kind of, dive into childhood Halloween. So I'm going to let Taylor kick this off because I really am intrigued to know what her Halloweens were like, because I discovered that they were nothing like mine. So tell me about that, Tay.
Yeah, so I actually, for a while, I still celebrated, if you count that as celebrating. I still participated in Halloween on actual Halloween, but our family is big in camping, right? So we would always go camping, which would lead us to going trick-or-treating at these campgrounds, things like that during the weekend. And then there would always be, pumpkin patches there. But then there was always the place where we used to go camping when I was little was called Little Farm on the River. And there was an absolutely terrifying and petrifying haunted house there when I was little. And I ate that up. I loved it. I don't like being scared and stuff now, but I used to love it then, and I would laugh at my friends when they would get scared and cry. That sounds very bad. I promise I'm empathetic. I promise, but that was kind of what that was like. And we would always trick or treat, and then our moms and my grandparents and stuff went too. So our moms of my friends, and then my grandma, and then my mom, they would all do a big soup thing. So, we would always do soup and eat soup before you went trick-or-treating, and then they'd be trick-or-treating, at the camper and stuff. But then on actual Halloween, I would go to my best friend's house, and then we would trick-or-treat together from her house and, her part of where we lived in town, because I lived, I was the only kid for a long time, in my, kind of not really neighborhood, because I don't really live in a neighborhood because I live outside of town. So you couldn't really walk up to their doors and trick or treat because, there's such a distance between houses that it's you're not just going to walk up to your neighbor's door unless there's something wrong or something. So I didn't really do that in my own neighborhood necessarily. But then, we had the big trick or treating in other areas. So, I would still trick or treat and stuff, but I don't know. It was just different than what Lexi was talking about.
Well, like for me, I was just very, like I was talking about this the other day with my roommates. I was just very like kind of sheltered as a kid, if that makes sense. And not in like a bad way. Like I obviously knew what was going on. My parents just decided to take out certain aspects of whatever it may be. So like for Halloween, we didn't watch scary movies in my house. We didn't do haunted houses. We would trick or treat in our neighborhood only. And like we didn't do anything, I guess, that just would have scared us. I don't know if that makes any sense, but we just weren't very spooky as like little kids. Like I think the spookiest thing that I watched as like a kid was probably Scooby-Doo, because we're huge Scooby-Doo people, but I would watch that like year round, not just like around Halloween. As I got older, probably like middle school, it would have been Coraline. I know that movie freaks a bunch of people out. I love Coraline because I'm a psychological person. So like the psychological thriller of Coraline is like absolutely amazing. But as I got older, you know, I got into more Tim Burton stuff, but because he like does a lot for Disney, I guess, or some of his movies are like on Disney. I don't really think that they're that scary. But I'd watch like Disney movies, you know, for like Halloween, or like we would do we like would throw like miniature Halloween parties for like our family and like really close friends. We would do pumpkin carving and roasting pumpkin seeds and pumpkin painting. We'd go to the pumpkin patch. We would go to the apple orchard. Like very like Christian girl autumn essentially for like my Halloween, if that makes sense. I'd watch like the Disney movies. Like I was just telling Taylor, and this is what I found out, Taylor has never seen Girl versus Monster, which is devastating to me because Luke Benoit, oh my god, and then Olivia Holt. Like that movie is just so cute and so funny. Like that's like a scary Disney movie, if that makes sense. Like, but yeah, I would watch like the spooky Ant Farm episodes. We would watch Girl versus Monster, all of the Halloween Town movies, Hocus Pocus, Coraline, Corpse Bride, Frankenweenie, Paranorman, like all of those movies, and you know, Scooby-Doo, stuff like that. Like it was just very, and like we would decorate cookies. Like it was just very like kind of baby, I guess. Like we just really wouldn't do a lot. And then as far as trick-or-treating goes, we would go with like mainly our family, but sometimes we would, as we got older, like I'd say middle school was the first time I went trick-or-treating with friends, like 5th or 6th grade. So a lot of like family oriented things. But I also grew up in a really religious household. So it kind of also made sense why like a lot of spooky things weren't involved, I guess. Just because, which this is a generalization, this is not my belief by any means, and this is no longer my parents' beliefs, but for a time, like I really think that they felt like everything spooky was like demonic, so they kind of thought that, or just like sense that we would take that out of it versus like it just being spooky, if that makes sense. So they just decided to let us grow up and kind of figure that out on our own as we were older, which I'm very grateful for because I, you know, love Harry Potter and I love spooky things, but just it makes it really nostalgic when I look back on like the different movies and like the cute little Disney stuff that I used to watch as a kid. But yeah, I don't know. Taylor, do you have anything else to add on that?
Yeah, so like I watched the Disney movies and stuff. Like I watched like Halloween Town. Like everybody watched Halloween Town. Like I watched that at my grandparents' house. And it's not like my parents were letting me watch anything wild when I was little. But my favorite Halloween movie when I was little, which Luke Benoit is in this too, I just Googled it, was Mostly Ghostly. And that's the one that was so like terrifying and was more like the ghouls and like actually trying to scare because it's an R.L. Stein. Yeah. So like it was actually kind of scary.
Like goosebumps.
Like goosebumps and stuff. So that was where I was at with that. Like, but then again, I also used to watch CSI to like go to sleep as a small child. So like,
but like me too though, because I used to watch SVU with my mom all the time. But it was more so I guess like during the season.
Yeah. But and then that led me to liking more of like the slasher films versus like the paranormal. You know what I mean? Like Halloween. I mean, there's paranormal elements to that, right? But then, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like my parents were letting me watch, like, The Shining at, like, 4 years old, and I'm sitting there, like, watching the twins and the blood come down the stairs and weird stuff like that. No, like, it was mostly ghostly. That's just because I watched Disney, But like, and I remember, what was it, the Jessie episode, Halloween episode? That was my only Halloween episode that I really liked, because like that was the only one that was kind of freaky, because like, wasn't it the girl was like not alive or something, and she was still like in the apartment, and like she was haunting the apartment. And then the Wizards of Waverly Place episode 2. But like, I wasn't like, I don't know, I guess that's where we're kind of different with that. And that could just be like your like not religious thing. I don't want to blame it on that, but like, I don't know, we're just different kids, I guess.
Yeah, like Taylor said we were different kids. I think I might have cut it off on the roadcaster, but no, yeah. And I think also too, it's not solely just on like, environment. It's also just preference. But yeah, no. And I love spooky things now for sure. Like, I mean, I listen to Morbid, which is a very spooky podcast. I watch Harry Potter. And I truly do love like spooky and like ghouly things for sure. I'm not a gory person. I'm not into like that. I mean, like gory movies. Like if the podcast is gory, like, okay, I'll eat that up. I'll be like, give me more, give me more. But like as far as movie goes, like just visually, it doesn't do anything for me, if that makes sense. Like it just, I don't know. Yeah. And I like went to indie like Fear Farm or like Scream Farm or Scream Park or whatever it was, like for the first time, I think sophomore year of high school. And of course, like my family made me go first through like the one where it's like pitch black and you have to like feel this, you have to hold onto the rope as you go through, like, yeah. And we didn't have the passes where they like could touch you or whatever, but still it's like kind of horrifying that you're like the one that has to go first. I was like, thanks guys. Like, thank you so much for that. But yeah, no, yeah, it was just one of those things where I guess just growing up, because my parents were also those people that were like, you can't watch SpongeBob. Like, I don't think I watched SpongeBob until, because my dad hated it. Yeah, Taylor's like, what? My dad hated SpongeBob. Like, my mom was like, whatever, but like, if my dad was around, we couldn't watch it. So it was more so like when I got my first phone, which I think I was 13 maybe is when I got my first phone, I would then watch like SpongeBob. Taylor's like, she's going off right now. But, and I don't dislike, like, I think SpongeBob's hilarious. And I know some people like watch that. We weren't a Nickelodeon house. Like, we would watch like things on Nickelodeon and stuff, but like we were a Disney house, like 110%. And yeah, it was like the Jessie episodes, the Ant Farm episodes, just very like, I don't know what, like, I guess I don't want to say baby or childish, but it was just very mild.
It's not, no.
It was very mild, like Halloween. It was more of like the Halloween aesthetic with like a couple of like spooky things, but like nothing crazy ever. So yeah, it was just like, that was kind of how mine was. And Taylor had made a point in what she was saying, and I literally forget what I was gonna like say, because it was like, wait, my family's the opposite. But yeah, it was just, that's kind of how we were. But if I think about it, I'll come back to it. But what I wanted to touch on now is like Halloween costumes. So I would have to go back and look at everything, but I'm just going to talk about the ones that I remember, to be honest, because there's quite a couple that I do not remember. And there's one that I told Taylor about before we started filming. We'll get to that one towards the end, because she's pretty bad. And I'll find the picture and I'll put it in there. Like, I really thought I was serving as a 7th grader, so I would have been 13. Like, yeah, 13 or 14 years old. So anyways, as like a little kid, your parents like dress you up as like, I think I was a butterfly, I was a bumblebee. Like, those are pretty basic and super cute. I was, what's her name, like Ghoulia or something from like Monster High one year. That was pretty funny. Those pictures are actually really funny. I was a bumblebee while I was in middle school. That one's interesting. Or no, maybe 4th grade. I was a bumblebee. It was a really chubby bumblebee, but I was a bumblebee. I don't know if I really ever had a favorite Halloween costume though, because like I said, as a kid growing up, we just kind of like, trick-or-treating was like super fun, but I would kind of pass out the candy more so than go out with my family, because my brother and sister like really loved it. And it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just, it was fun for a while as like a little kid. And then as I got older, I was like, I would just rather stay at the house out of the cold, because Halloween, a lot of the times here in Indiana, it would be snowing, or like it would be like freezing cold. So, I'm trying to think of like other funny costumes because I just really feel like I had a lot of basic ones. I was a witch one year. And then I'm trying to think of what I was towards the end of high school. And I was a Gryffindor student one year. I think it was junior year of high school. But the one that will forever burn a hole in my mind, as well as I think everybody is going to remember me for this outfit, like this Halloween costume out of my family, like we still talk about it. Seventh grade, sixth or seventh grade. I think it might have been sixth grade, actually, Taylor. I'm going to go with sixth grade. So I was probably 14 years, no, maybe 13.
You're in sixth grade? Sixth grade, you got to be like 11, 12, like max, I think.
Well, I'm older, so I think I was probably 12. So I don't know what possessed me and made me think that this was a good idea. But, you know, when you go to Party City and they've got like the wall of costumes. Well, also just to preface, if you guys don't know, which we'll talk about this in an episode coming up, not coming up, but like further down the road, trigger warning. I dealt with an eating disorder for 9 years, and when it first started, it was binging, and I didn't purge, so I had gained a lot of weight as a little kid and was just very chunky and unhealthy. I had really bad habits. I was super depressed. And in this prime of my life, another trigger warning, I was dealing with a lot of mental health issues and suicidal tendencies and thoughts. So I just I did not look good. I didn't feel good. And I didn't fit into the costumes that were made for kids my age, if that makes sense. So I had to look at costumes that were meant for older people. And I had the brilliant idea to ask my parents if I could be what is labeled on the bag as sexy cop. And Taylor is trying to hold it together right now so hard. But the thing is the ones that I would fit into were all for older, mature women that would be wearing these. Because I feel like most people know on Halloween, a lot of people use it as an excuse to dress up in a very sultry manner. That's the best way I'm going to put it. You know, as quoted in Mean Girls, it's the night for girls to use as an excuse to wear lingerie, essentially. So yeah, while my friends were being like normal, cute little sixth grade costumes and like, you know, characters, I was a sexy cop, and it was pretty funny, and it's really funny to look back on. But I remember just being super embarrassed because at the time I thought it was a really good idea, and then when I actually went out on Halloween, I was made fun of severely. So lesson learned. So I will never be doing that ever again. Never catch me in a cop uniform ever again. But that's just kind of like a funny story for me as far as like costumes go. I don't really think that I have anything else that like beats that, but just a traumatic experience. If I can find a picture, I know that there's one on my mom's Facebook somewhere. I will find it and I will try to put it in the video. No promises, but yeah. Taylor, do you have any fun like costume stories so I am not the only one that's embarrassed myself here?
No, you're fine. I've been making a list of all the ones I can remember. So, just off of memory, first costume I think was a ladybug. So we were starting off pretty normal, right? Then I go straight to JoJo the Clown. And then we're back to Princess Aurora, right? But then we go straight to a vampire covered in blood, right? Then we go to an 80s rocker, also weirdly had blood in there too, but that's just... Then I was a witch. Then I was not a regular fairy, a graveyard fairy. Then I was Cleopatra. Oh, twice.
Sorry, I literally had to stop really quick. I totally forgot. I was also Cleopatra twice. No joke. I might have even been it 3 times. I still have that costume in my closet at home. No joke. I literally forgot about that. Like, how did that go over my head? Because there are pictures like 3 years in a row, consecutively, not spread out, consecutively, of me wearing that same fucking costume. Oh my God.
And then I was disgust from the Inside Out movie, so I painted myself green. And then I'm going to skip this one because it was my favorite one. Then I was a frat boy in 6th grade. I need to find the picture of it. It's pretty iconic and it's pretty accurate, just so you all know.
What was the name? What was your frat boy name?
My frat boy name? I feel like it was like definitely something like Chad or Brad. But then also like part of me was like, didn't have really a name for it because, okay, so the reason I was a frat boy is because the movie Grown Ups 2, they get into a fight with all the frat boys, and Taylor Lautner was a hot frat boy in that movie. And that was one of my favorite movies. And then I was sitting here, I was like, what's going to be something funny? Because we had little dance at school. I was like, what's going to be something funny? And I'm going to be a frat boy. And I showed up to this dance at school dressed as a frat boy. I had Sperry's on. I had the Nike socks. I had khaki shorts. I had a polo, and then I had like a flannel over the polo, and then I had a backwards hat, and I walked into the like 6th grade dance with a red Solo cup. Like, what teacher like said that like that was okay? But like, I digress. Very interesting moment. I did wear that to school. It was very interesting. I didn't get made fun of though. All the girls were dressing up as something like cute. Not that the boys like ate that up, but like it was unique. I mean, granted, got complimented on it more than got made fun of, which at that age, like you would think you would have got made fun of for that. No, everybody thought it was hilarious. I digress. Then next year after that, I was a flapper, which that was a group costume. Then I was an M&M, like I had a red sweatshirt on and I just like taped like an M on it. And then I was a Dalmatian the last time I dressed up, like in high school. I think I skipped around. I did years where I didn't dress up at all, and then I randomly would do it again. But my favorite costume, and to preface, 99% of my costumes, I would say, were homemade or had like a homemade element to it. But my favorite costume I ever did was a zombie. And I had this sweatshirt, and my dad drug it behind a trailer in our front yard that has like, we have like gravel in our front yard or whatever. He drug it in the gravel so it would like rip and stuff. And it was my sweatshirt. I wore it all the time, but I was like, for this costume, this is what I'm doing. So that was my favorite costume. Most iconic was a zombie. That's where I started doing special effects makeup. After that, I did my cousin's Aubrey's special effects makeup a couple times after that because I would be like, oh, I don't want to dress up. I just want to do Aubrey's makeup. And then I'd like paint this cute little girl like an ugly clown with like blood all over it. Or one time she did Little Mermaid, but we put a hook in her mouth and like put blood all over her. So like that was interesting. But then, like I said, 99% of my costumes were like homemade, but then also they were group costumes because it was the same group of people that would always go camping when I was little. So like me, my best friend Emma, and then my cousin Ella, we would always somehow have a matching costume because like Emma's mom is big on costumes and loves Halloween, and that's why me and her mom get along so well. We're a lot alike, which Emma hates it sometimes, but like that's probably why me and Emma are best friends because I'm literally like her mom reincarnated, not really. But anyway, besides the point, and she would always have these great ideas for us. So then we would always have the best like kind of costumes, and then we would be in the costume contests and stuff like that. I don't vividly remember winning ever, but then my cousin Aubrey won when I did her makeup as the Princess Ariel, but with the hook in her mouth. So I mean, I count that as a win. But yeah, all of mine were kind of, I had the little girly phase there, but then always they would end up with blood somehow associated, and then vampire. And then one time I said I wanted to be a werewolf, and my mom got like a cute little werewolf costume that was like the Claudia one from Monster High, and I told her no. And then she bought me like the boy one, and then I was like, no. And then she's like, so which one are you going to wear? And I was like, none, I'm just not going. Because I couldn't find like a werewolf one that I liked, because like I didn't want to be the little girl. Because also kind of like with you, I didn't fit into the normal like little costumes. So like the Claudia outfit was literally like a mini skirt and like a tube top and then like a little vest. I wasn't gonna be out here wearing that. Like that was just not happening for me. So like kind of similar situation, and that's probably why most of mine were like homemade or, you know, similar to that. So
I was literally, as you were speaking, I forgot I was also a flapper one year. That's another one. And then I just, as a kid, like I've mentioned maybe on the pod, I'm just a very much like a homebody. So I just enjoyed being home. I know that that's like supposed to be a time of the year where you like go out and stuff, but I forgot about another iconic costume, which I don't know if anybody remember, like any of the, I don't even know if anyone who knows about this costume is even listening to this podcast. I'm trying to get this out the best I can, but I just like didn't really have any remarkable costumes except that one, the sexy cop. The other one that was really funny though was, I believe it was in 7th or 8th grade, probably 8th grade, as we were getting ready to graduate leave middle school. And if anybody on here listening went to Zionsville West Middle School, knows that we have a saying that is make great choices. And this saying was implemented when we got a new vice principal, who's now the principal of the school. I'm not going to say his name because you can probably find that somewhere. But when he had come in, I think it was probably my 6th grade years when he joined the school, he implemented the make great choices like motto, and it would be plastered everywhere and on the announcements every day. It was like, and remember, make great choices. Like, because we weren't delinquents, but there were a lot of kids in our school that would just do really stupid things and get in trouble like consistently, where we would get things taken away, or like we just would, as a class, like generally be in trouble all the time. So one year, the myself and 2 other girls who I'm no longer friends with, we decided that for Halloween we were going to go as make great choices. And it was a pretty funny costume. I mean, we literally just wore jeans, basic tennis shoes, like did our hair like super cute and like basic makeup. And then we like decorated the crap out of these t-shirts that each said like one of the words. I can't remember which one I was. I feel like I might have been make or choices, like one of the end words. But it was really funny. And I'm pretty sure it ended up getting back to like the school administration, and they were like, well, did you get a hoot out of it? Was it funny? And we were like, yeah, I mean, it was funny. People thought it was hilarious, but it was mainly our friends. I just remember that, like, thinking about Halloween costumes, because I really, like I said, I don't have anything that's really remarkable, I guess, besides those 2. But yeah, I mean, just stupid things like that. But yeah, that's kind of like what my Halloween looked like as a kid. And same with Tay. I don't really have much more to add. I think we'll like update you guys on the Instagram, maybe, if we like, you know, figure out what we're gonna be for Halloween. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of all that I got. I know Taylor's got one more thing to add, so I'm gonna let her take over really quick.
do we make a poll on our Instagram and let them decide
That
between our 2 choices?
That is such a good idea. Yeah.
I mean, you know, got to get the audience involved. Like, I mean, we can't really make a decision. So, like, decision out of our hands. And we'll just have it be a poll on our Insta.
So with that, we will be posting the poll Tuesday when this episode comes up, so that we can figure out this week what we're going to do. So if you guys listen, please go. Our Instagram is always linked in the bio, or like our like username is always in the bios of both YouTube and Spotify. Go to the Instagram page and vote, because we're gonna need to have some opinions, because we've got no idea. But with that, this has kind of been a mishmashy episode today, but you know what? That's the Monster Mash for you. I crack myself up sometimes. But anyways, Yeah, that's been today's episode. We love you guys so much. Thank you for sticking around. We know that the last couple of ones have been unscripted, but you know what? That's kind of what makes it fun is we kind of just talk about what's been going on and talk about, you know, a little bit of our take on things. And we just love and appreciate the constant support. And we are super excited for the Halloween episode that is coming out on Halloween next week. Get pumped up. That is going to be, again, a superstition / urban legends of IU, maybe our hometowns. We'll figure it out. But that's gonna be a really, really awesome episode, and we're super excited for that. And like I said, this Thursday we've got a romanticizing college life episode coming towards you. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed, and we love you all. So this has been Lex
And Tay.
and our take on college.